Welcome to another episode of Life Coach Code podcast. On this podcast, we focus on helping you improve the four fundamental pillars of a human being: the spirit, the mind, the body, and the heart. And today we have a lovely guest here on our podcast, and we're going to focus more on how to thrive as a working mom and stop neglecting yourself so you can live a fulfilled life with meaning and purpose. Let me introduce her. Her name is Mary Dibble. If you've been present on the Superhuman Summit this year, then you very well know her. If not, let me share a few things about her. So, Mary Dibble is a life purpose and goal success master life coach. She is a certified life coach, and she is a proud wife and a mother of three. Her personal journey of overcoming drug addiction, abuse, depression, and low self esteem has shaped her into a strong and confident woman. She is passionate about empowering working moms to embrace their true selves and create the life they desire. Mary also hosts the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, and her mission is to help mothers and parents and humans live their best life now. Mary, it's an honor to have you on this podcast, and welcome.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's an honor.
So let's jump right into the questions. I have so many things to unpack with you here. It's such a lovely topic we speak on today. A topic I believe it has been neglected and undermined and not spoken of enough. So, how do you define self-care specifically for moms? And why is it so crucial for their overall well-being? How they can balance between their self-care and also the care of their children?
Oh, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, first of all, I want to say, I think when people hear the word self-care, they might think that it means like me time or, just taking a little break here and there. But self-care is so much more than what we actually embrace. Self-care means actually taking true self-care of yourself, meaning making sure that you're hydrating yourself, you're getting your sleep, that you're taking time to work on yourself and really modeling not just for you but for your children what it means to really take care of our body. It's so much more than a lot of us allow ourselves to embrace because we think it's selfish or we think we don't have the time. I mean, I get it. As a busy mom myself, I know that when I first was introduced to the concept of self-care, I'm thinking, who has time for that? Like between taking care of the kids, doing my job, cleaning the household, things like that. I don't have time. I mean, just to have a break to watch TV, what made me feel guilty, because then I'm thinking, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. So when I realized and was taught myself that the most important thing I can do for me is to fill my cup. And I love that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, because it is so true. If you really take a step back and see, like, how are you showing up for your kids? How are you showing up for your family? Are you snapping at them all the time? Are you stressed out? Are you bringing this energy of they're like, we don't know how mom's day's been? Or, if you see that in your life, that means you're not really implementing that self-care for yourself. And in order to do that, that means making time and blocking that time out for you to truly do what fills you up. And it could be a hobby. It could be reading a book that empowers you and inspires you. It could be journaling. It could be speaking affirmations, creating healthy habits that will really help you embrace your true self and help you to rise, so that when you show up for everyone else, you're so filled, you're so full of energy and love, and you get to showcase that. And think about what you're teaching your children. Like you were saying, as far as that question goes, and how that impacts your kids, well, you're teaching them that they also get to set healthy boundaries, that they also get to love themselves, they accept themselves, they take care of themselves. And imagine, for a lot of us, we grew up quite the opposite. The programming that we had as, seeing our parents neglect themselves, sacrifice themselves. And so we grew up believing that that's what it means to be a good mom. That's what it means to be, to make it in life. And it's so opposite. And so if we start teaching our children now the true concept of self-care and the importance of making sure that we are putting ourselves first and that's not selfish, then that, can you imagine how they're going to grow up and the things that they're going to like embrace for themselves? So yeah, I truly am a huge supporter, and that's a big part of what I teach is like actually doing some real true self-care and developing habits that complement that that actually last too, because that's another thing. It's one thing to start something, but to build that consistency is that's another challenge for sure.
Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for mentioning these myths that we all have, right? Like for this
Yeah.
sacrificial mom, this martyr. We all believe that parenting is basically you need to get rid of your own life for the sake of your children's life. That's the kind of like the belief it's being
Yeah.
programmed into us
Yeah.
from even from when we are kids. And that's so wrong because, as you said, you cannot pour to somebody else's cup if your cup is not full.
Yes.
And we've seen a lot of parents that they're literally being so dry, their cup is empty, and they try to give to their children as much as
Yes.
they can. And I'm not saying that's something to be looked down upon. That's
Yeah.
a great trait of a human spirit to be able to sacrifice something of yourself for your children, but it doesn't
Yes.
have to be that way. That's the big
Exactly.
distinction, that's the nuance. You can have a starting point of
Mhm.
all of you having a full cup, right? You don't have to sacrifice anything. Doesn't mean that just if you have children, now your life is over, like many people think.
Yeah.
And what I want you to tell me, what are some other myths about motherhood or self-care that you found along your journey?
Well, so it's also about just really knowing that you matter too, like you're saying, you matter too. And, I feel like when I decided to start chasing after my dreams again, because, you're right, I was like that too when I first, I had my first son or my first child with my son when he was 20 years old. So I was barely an adult. I didn't really know anything. So it was easy to fall into that pattern of just putting myself on the back burner and focusing 100%. And don't get me wrong, mamas, I get it, especially when they're young. They need a lot of our attention, they need a lot of our love. But at the same time, we still have to make the time for ourselves to take that nap when we need that nap, or to just take a break and go and do some breathing exercises, something to just calm our nervous system sometimes, because yes, life can be unpredictable, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of uncertainty, but if we don't start forming these healthy habits of knowing how to handle these conflicts that arise, then it is going to overwhelm us, it's going to stress us out, and we're going to freak out and make the whole experience so much worse than it has to be. And that's what I want to teach you guys. It's like these things are so amazing and how it helps you face real life challenges, because they're going to happen whether we like it or not, right? So why not have tools and people even who you can turn to in those times that will help you to pause and really reflect on who you are and how you would rather show up, and learn those skills and master them to the point that when things get chaotic or things don't always go the way you want it to, well, now I know what to do so that I can see it in a different way and understand maybe there's something in this that's supposed to teach me something, rather than feeling like, oh, everything's just happening to me and things are just going chaotic, and woe is me. Instead of having that victim mentality or allowing it to affect you in a negative way, you have the ability, the capabilities of turning it all around, learning from it, growing, embracing, and completely shifting that experience from something that would have put you down to something that makes you rise. And that is truly what doing this action, taking action and really doing this work will do for you. And the doors of opportunity that it also opens for you is incredible. So, whether it is like, doing some stretches, starting off with something small. I'm all about baby steps, because I do believe that as moms, we tend to want to take it all on, do it all, right? We have that tendency, we have to do it all, and jump in 110 feet. And I'm like, no, because what that does is it scares your subconscious mind into thinking, whoa, 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 this is a lot. This is a lot. Who are you to do this? Why you can't do this. You got this and this and this and that. And so there you go. We get discouraged, we get burnt out, we get overwhelmed, and then we slowly but surely just give up. Right. So this is why baby steps, I think, is such a powerful way of doing things, because you're just taking one little step at a time. One little, like, hey, I'm going to add on a little 5-minute stretch, 5-minute yoga every morning, or I'm going to take time to meditate for 90 seconds because it's all I have, but I'm doing it. And I'm just going to do this small little shift. And that shift, if you keep doing it, the next thing you know, you're like, you know what? I got 2 minutes. I'm gonna add a little extra. And that's what people do. And they build upon that. And that's where you find the actual transformation and true lasting shifts that will really open up such a better life for yourselves and really let you step into who you're meant to be.
Love that you said that, and I completely agree. We most often underestimate the power of just doing 90 seconds meditation, that
Mhm.
it can just steer your day towards a completely new direction, and it can make you feel more, it can give you clarity, it can make you feel
Yes.
calmer, and that's all you need to make better decisions. And the decision eventually makes your day. So these small baby steps, small tools that you can use, they're so powerful, and mothers need to know more of them. They need to have a resource, they need to have some form of education about these tools so they can use them when they need to use them. And a lot of people think that self-care means basically like get rid of your children, just be by yourself alone, which is a myth,
Yeah.
and it's completely opposite. And because of that, and because of we don't understand that just small changes can really make a huge impact into your day, that's the main reason why many people don't use these tools, and they don't actually help them, and they don't care about themselves, and they slowly drain until they become empty. And as you say, they start snapping onto their children. They show bad behavior that the children learn. And as we know, children don't learn through reason. Children learn through behavior, through emotion. So that's huge if you can show up for your children to be the person you want them to grow up to be. So that's a huge difference that you make for your children and for society in general. So there's so many things in what you said that I want to unpack. What really came to my mind is the change of the environment we're growing up in, and change of societal norms, change of culture, and how all of that impacts the mother, especially when she's having a child. In the past, and also in some cultures right now, I know also the place I'm coming from, people stay a lot more closer than maybe in more Western societies. So the mother of the father, the mother of the mother, they're all living close together. And when the mom is having a child, they're all here to help. Sometimes it might result, of course, in a conflict, but these are all small conflicts that are easily resolved. And however, at the end of the day, they all are there to help. And the mother subconscious, she doesn't feel that she is that much alone, that she needs to take on all of it on her back alone. So I want to hear your opinion of how much that type of, that's how to say, the difference between being living in a family unit, that you have the grandmother close, the grandfather close, and what Western society has become, how much that affects the life, the self-care of a mother.
Yes, definitely. That is actually a huge thing for me. Like you're right, in like the US, and it's different. Everyone's different with that. And there's a lot of moms, and including myself, that feel so alone when you go in that journey. Even though I had a great supportive husband, there's just something I get that whole saying it takes a village is so true. And when you are in a place where you're a single mom, and you don't even have, a spouse, or you don't live near your family, and you're really having to take it on, it really causes you to get this idea that you have to now do everything on your own. I got to figure this out by myself. And no, no, that should not be the way it is. And I really encourage anyone, if you have the resources, like if you have family around, use them. One of the biggest mistakes I made and with one of my kids when I had them was I felt guilty when somebody would come over and offer to watch my baby for me to go take a nap. I feel like, no, I need to entertain them. I need to stay up. Like I can't ask them to do that. And I would force myself to stay up instead of go get the sleep that I need. And that was ridiculous. So if you have that opportunity and somebody comes and says, hey, let me watch over the baby, go get you some sleep, go get you some sleep. Because a sleep deprived mom is not a healthy mom to be around a baby. So it's utilizing that community because I'm telling you, moms, this is what I'm about. We need to come together and be there for each other. I never want a mom to feel alone. So if you are someone who's in a position where you don't have family around or you don't have other moms around, come in my world because I want to be there for you because I know what it feels like to feel that journey alone, and it's terrible. It's horrible. And then as an entrepreneur even, you're even more lonely a lot of times if you don't allow yourself to get in that community and find people, like-minded people who will support and uplift you and cheer you on along the way. It's all important to us in taking care of ourselves, because if you don't have that, then you're going to neglect yourself, you're going to stretch yourself too thin, and then there goes your chances of really taking and implementing that self-care. That is self-care, by going out there and asking for help. Don't be afraid of that. That makes you stronger. It's not a weakness, it is strength, and you need to understand that and know that and find. I mean, we are so lucky we live in a world today, right, that we get to be in all, like literally across the country and all over the world, and get to connect like this and talk. And sometimes just something as simple as just having a conversation and venting and just having someone to share how you're feeling can go a long way in your self-care journey, for sure.
I love that. Love that you mentioned that the
Yeah.
technology today we can use
Yeah.
also to come together, right? We can use
Yes.
it to create communities. We can use it to not be alone in moments when we need others, especially mothers. They need a community of other mothers that we can see also on Facebook, right? There are many groups for
Yeah.
mothers who might not be that much constructive considering the answers you get inside, but some community like yours, community with a professional that actually can guide them and give them the right answers is priceless. It's priceless for any parent, especially for busy moms. So, if people wanna get in touch with you, we will leave all the links in the description below, where people can find you. We will leave a link to your website as well, and also, I believe you're offering a freebie. They can get the freebie which will give them clarity. So it's basically a busy mom roadmap to clarity and confidence. And you can get it if you go to Mary's website, which we're gonna leave in the description below, and you can find everything there for your convenience. So, this being said, let's focus on different types of questions right now that I want to focus on. You mentioned the small baby steps. If you can name three small baby steps that a busy mom can do right now to take better care of herself, what are those?
So I'm a huge fan of affirmations. This is so easy. You can literally do it as you're making your coffee, getting yourself up today. But speak affirmations. Find things that resonate with you, like I am worthy of love. I am worthy of my dreams, or I am abundant. I am connected to the infinite source and it flows to me. Whatever resonates with what you're hoping to achieve, I open myself to the radiant abundance that is available to me. I really feel like that is a simple but a powerful step to every day proclaim. And when you have that time, make it. I also find that journaling is a powerful tool, especially a gratitude journal. So, take a few moments, whether it's in the morning or at bedtime, to write down at least 5 things that you're grateful for. And also know that, let's say you're someone who's ready to be financially free and you're not there yet. Okay. I still want you to write, I am grateful for my financial freedom. I am grateful that I paid off my debt. So speak it as though it is now, because we can't just go out there and say, I want this, because that's pretty much putting yourself out there telling the universe that you don't have it. And so we want to always embrace and step and embody who we are and who we're going to be and who we envision ourselves in the future, and speak it as though it is now. That is a powerful way to just start shifting your mindset and really allowing it to have that abundance mindset from that scarcity mindset. And then there's also, for instance, if you're a mom who works in an office, I don't know if you're able to, if you can, I highly recommend finding a way to get like a lift for your keyboard. Or if you're at home, if you can find a way to get a desk that stands, or like any kind of lift to where you're standing more throughout your day, just little steps like that, and start instead of sitting all day, can shift your body and help you to not have those hip issues, can be healthy for you. I mean, I can have so many things that I love with when it comes to baby steps, but my biggest one, especially if you're a mom, let's say who's wanting to start a business, don't get so overwhelmed because I know that can be challenging. Look at what you can do right now in this moment. What's one small goal, whether it is for your health, whether it is for your business, whether it is for self care, just one small goal that doesn't overwhelm you. It could be the 90-second meditation, like I said, and just start now. Just do it. And don't care if it's messy or whatever the out, don't attach yourself to the outcome. Just start one little step and do it for a week and then see how you feel and then see what else you can incorporate into your next week and build upon that, but just be compassionate with yourself. We're humans. Life is unpredictable, especially as moms. It's okay. Sometimes we're going to, get a little off of our game or whatever. Love yourself, recognize it, and then just go back and get started. It's okay to just keep, to be like, I missed it today. That's okay. I'm gonna do it right now, or I'm gonna do it tomorrow first thing. Whatever it is, like we have to learn to be flexible, compassionate, and just really embody who we're meant to be and just, yeah, just get it done. Just do it. And there's nothing like inspired action to just do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
What really helped you when you were going through this journey? Let's say with your first child, when you were a new mom and everything was new for you, it was scary, I assume. I don't know, I haven't been a mom. So, uh, what really helped you in your journey?
Honestly, the people that I had around me. Because back then the father of my child abandoned us. He didn't want nothing to do with him. And so I was just me and my mom. And then I had some friends that I worked with who were very supportive of me and helped me. And just having that community and turning to them really helped a lot in me because I suffered a lot with postpartum depression. And it was challenging because I didn't really set out to be a mom. So I didn't know what to expect. I had just gotten over really being an addict as a teen. So I was really like barely discovering who I was. I was so young. It was a challenge. I'm not going to lie. But I will say, my son saved my life. Just holding him and seeing him and having him, he just inspired in me this love, this whole different way of seeing the world that I never knew existed. That unconditional love, that's real. Like, and I was someone who didn't want kids. Like, I didn't like kids, and it just the way he changed me, and he gave me this purpose, and I just walked with that, and I just took it one day at a time, just one day at a time. And that's another thing too. We don't have control over so much in our lives, but if we can just learn to just take it just one day at a time and just put one foot in front of the other and just find our way, things have a way of working out. They really do. There's times that I remember being like, how am I going to work and put him in daycare? How am I going to do all these things? And the next thing I know, it just worked out. And I love that. When I have that mentality now that, hey, everything has a way of working out and everything happens for a reason, it's like I don't freak out as much with knowing that, okay, I need this to happen or I need this or whatever. I know, hey, just what can I do right now to look into this or to move closer in that? Do I need to make a call? Do I need to research something? Do I need to look into things? Just simplifying things. We overcomplicate things as as people, right? We always try to make things harder than what they are. If we can learn to simplify it, it also really helps us to move forward. But definitely with your question, I would say the biggest thing was the support that I had from other people during that time really got me through a lot of that.
How would you approach a situation, for example, let's say that you feel you are alone, and as you said, community and finding somebody to actually be with you and maybe not even help you physically, but actually emotionally and just be there for you. How will you approach a situation? Will you contact your family and ask them nicely, or what is your strategy about somebody who is in a position that they feel alone? How they can find a community?
So, I mean, yeah, if you have family to turn to for sure, but some of us like it's families can be great for sure, but there's something about like really finding people that resonate with you and really finding people that like understand what you're going through. So, really for me, it is about putting yourself out there. Like putting yourself out there, sharing. and going out there on social media if you can and looking for those people, finding those groups, pulling up. I mean, like, I have found people just by researching, like, I need support or I need this. I'm looking for self-care. And then I would find people that way and then I would follow them. Finding a mentor sometimes can be super powerful. Kathy Heller was one of my greatest mentors. And I just happened to come across one of her ads one day and signed up for her free boot camp. And that's where it led me into learning so much. That's what got me started my podcast. So it's like sometimes if you just open yourself to seeing and being aware of the things that come across your path, that's enough. And I'm telling you, when you really pay attention, God, the universe will send things in your path, and then it's up to you to choose to follow it or ignore it.
Love that. And
Yeah.
we underestimate the power of working with somebody, with a coach especially. We underestimate how much it
Yes.
can really drastically change your life. And even if it's a free discovery call,
Oh,
or it's just a taking your freebie that you're offering, or just
yes.
getting in contact with you, or just even writing you a message,
Yeah.
it can change everything. And I implore people that if you feel alone, find a coach that
Yes.
fits your needs and contact them. Almost every coach that we ever interviewed on Life Coach Code, and you can go on Life Coach Code and search our database, we have literally the best coaches on the planet, not just as coaches and experts, but as humans too. All
Yeah.
of them, almost all of them, offer free consultation calls. So you can go and reach out to a person, just connect with them, and they will
Yeah.
help you. And I love what you said in the previous answer, that things somehow just turn out fine, right? We are, especially this new generation, is so much scared to start a family, right? To make a new life. I know a lot of people, also my friends, who are scared to have children. They don't know they think they need to have the finances straight. They need to their whole life to be perfect. And we all know that in
Yeah.
the past, our families had nothing perfect. We probably have more perfect life right now than they ever had when they had you. So
Yeah.
this being said, we I don't know why we don't more of the new generation doesn't believe in this leap of faith to just
Yeah.
jump, do something, and
Yeah.
believe that things will turn out fine.
Yeah.
What do you have as a suggestion or maybe an advice to this generation to tell them how they can shift this mindset and just be more open to take, I don't want to call it a risk because it's starting a family, but just taking this leap of faith?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can feel like that is a risk. I mean, because I will use my own personal story. So, I was waitressing when I first had my son back then. And it is super hard to make money when you're a single mom having to work the lunch shift because that's the only time you have daycare. And the night shifts where you really make the money. So I was struggling. I was traveling over 20, 25 minutes away to make 30, 40 bucks in a lunch hour. It was a big struggle. And I didn't know what I was going to do having a child. I had no idea. I didn't have anything planned. I did not have the financial security either. I just trusted that things will work out. And, this is what I mean about when we just let life be and really learn to just live it and look for those opportunities. So all it took was one day something happened with one of my accounts and I had to go in person into the bank. And I sat down with the one woman who helped me happened to be the branch manager, and we got to talking and she just loved me. She's like, your personality is just so amazing. And she's like, can I ask you something? She's like, are you looking for a job? And bam, the next thing I know, a week later, I'm getting hired in banking. And that changed the course of my life. That provided more security for me and a set guaranteed money that I never had before. I mean, things just really do work out when you allow yourselves to believe it so. And that's something what people don't realize. Your beliefs is what dictates your reality. So if you're going to believe that you have to have this before you can do this, then I'm sorry to tell you, but you're never going to get there. You're literally hindering yourself from achieving that because your beliefs are telling you or you're putting out there in the universe that until this happens, I'm not allowed to have this. And if you want to really turn that around, then start speaking that I may not have this yet, but I can do this. I am capable and I trust that this is going to work out. And like I said, the universe is always working for you, not against you. So when it sees that you have a need, it will work that out for you. And I just encourage you to just it just you don't think, it may seem simple, but it truly works, is to start changing your language. Stop talking using the words can't, or I need this before, or I'll do this when. Just say, I have this now. I am grateful for the abundance that I have. I am grateful that things always work out for me in the way that it needs to. I am blessed. I know that it is possible. I can. Start just shifting the way you say, even if you have to say, I don't have this yet. Yet is even a powerful thing, because it's, yeah, I know it's meant for me. I know it's here. May not have it yet, but it is mine. And it is so. And I guarantee you'll see such a shift in the way you allow yourself and open yourself up to hear and see the opportunities that present itself after that.
That's so true, so true.
Yeah.
And I've also noticed in my life, whenever you say something that basically you're saying, if unless I have this, then I cannot do this, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even
Yeah.
if it's not true at the moment, it's going
Yeah.
to become true.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we should be very careful of the language that we use to speak to ourselves. And as you said, there are so many interesting words that you can use to change the narrative, change
Yeah.
the frame that you are building in your mind about who you are and what you can do in your life. Because at the end of the day, our beliefs decide the rules of the game that we are
Yeah.
playing. And you are in control of the beliefs that you're going to program yourself with. And you're programming yourself every second of every day with the thoughts that you're thinking and the things you're speaking to yourself. I love that you said that. And one of the main reasons I believe that new generations feel so afraid and they don't want to jump into taking this leap of faith is that we have so much comfort in our lives, and we face less discomfort than generations before, and this makes us more scared of things that maybe seem normal for past generations. So there are many things right now that for us feel not normal, that in the past people, they didn't even notice them, they didn't
Yeah.
care about them because they didn't have that much comfort as much as we have today. Uh,
Mm.
so I want to ask you, what is the maybe we spoke about leap of faith and
Yeah.
that people need to eventually jump, but do you have some maybe a quote or maybe some initiation or a thought that or a reframe that you can tell people to just do the thing that their hearts tell them to do? Because we all have some things that we want to do. Even let's take working moms, right? They might have some idea, a belief, a dream that they want to start, but they're also afraid to do it because they believe it's going to overwhelm them. So what would you say to them to take this leap of faith?
I love that. And I'm gonna, like, because I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm gonna pull it up because um see if I can find it, because I love that, because it's, well, if I can find it.
Not an
It,
issue. And it's
yes,
such a huge deal because we it's easy to say get out of the comfort zone, right? It's easy to
it
say the
is.
comfort zone is atrophying your muscle to be successful and be great, but at the end of the day, we are
Oh,
all
yes.
having certain comfort and something needs to push us to go
I
out.
know. And this is
Right.
so simple too. I love it. But it's the only way you don't get better at something is by not doing it. Like, if you ever want to ever gain a skill or really have that abundance, or have that life and that freedom, like, you're never going to get there by not doing anything. And if you really look at the evidence of all the successful people out there, I love talking about Sylvester Stallone, because his story just, I adore it, because he was homeless. He was homeless, and he had this script of the Rocky. He had this script in his hand. That's all he had left on him, and he just happens to be at the right place at the right time. I think that's divine timing. And he happened to run into this, producer that just, he decided to share the script with. And had he not, he could have ignored that. He could have not gone there that day. He could have not listened to his intuition, right? And just, keep being homeless. Right? But what's even better about that story is that They came back and told him they would pay him $100,000 for that script. For a homeless person at that time in his time, that's a lot of money. That could have changed a lot for him, right? But he knew in himself that he was meant to play that role. And they're like, you have no acting experience. You're too short. You're not, you can't, there's no, we have other people that would be much better in this role. And he was adamant. No, he didn't take the money. He knew I will give you this if I play the role. And the rest is history. I just saw where he made the newest Rocky. And I'm like, it's so amazing that when we believe in ourselves, when we allow ourselves, like you say, to get out of our comfort zone. I know you hear that, but it's so true. Until you start taking action and doing things, even it feels scary, even if you're shaking, even if it's messy, without taking those steps, you're never going to get to that other side. You're not going to see what you're capable of. So I just encourage you and challenge you to really think about where you are now. Where do you want to see yourself in 5, 10 years from now? And what would it mean for you to not take action? Like, what would it look like to just stay where you are and keep struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, overwhelming yourself, being burnt out? What does that look like for you as well? Because that's where you're going to keep going if you don't take action, if you don't allow yourself to just go out there and learn as you go. Because I'm telling you, everyone who starts in anything, they are clueless. Nobody really goes into things having all the answers out there. They find it along the way, and you evolve and change things all the time. There's nothing wrong with that either. So allow yourself to just kind of go out there and test things out, try new things, just be daring. Be daring, because if you really want to see change, if you really are serious that you want to have a transformational life, you want to have this abundance, you want to be successful, you won't do it, you won't achieve it without taking action. It just not going to happen.
Absolutely. I love what you said about thinking where you will end up if you don't take action. That's huge. I believe that's the advice I also give to people if I want to help them get out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yes, we can motivate, but nothing motivates as when you envision who you will remain, not become, but who you will remain if you don't take action. Because in all probability, right now, you don't live your most ideal, perfect life, right? And life, if you don't take action, is not staying in one line. Actually, it's getting slowly, slowly down and down and down. You are dropping. You are not actually raising. You need to take action to become something. You need to take action to actually grow, to thrive. And if you don't take action, just think about who you will be and let that idea hunt you. And it will hunt you away from your comfort zone. I love what you said. Uh, and yeah, the second thing, we never really understand the true path to something unless we try it, right? Things
Yeah.
always change, always evolve, and the idea you have right now that what it would take, it's maybe 10% right, 90% is wrong, and you will only know that when you take that first step. It's like
Yeah.
this invisible bridge that you just have one tiny step and the rest is nothing. It's air. I
Yes.
believe the third Indiana Jones had this, like, when they need to cross from one cliff
Yeah.
to another and there is no bridge, but they need to take this leap of faith. And when they go, it's actually an invisible bridge. So I believe that's actually what the
Yeah.
metaphor of
Mhm.
taking a leap of faith. You will never see the true path, and you will see the next step only when you take the first step. So you cannot know the real path. The idea you have, it's probably wrong. So it will adjust when you
Yeah.
start taking these steps. And speaking about evolving things, your self-care probably also evolves as your children grow up. Correct. So,
Mhm.
in your expertise, what would you say to people, and how might self-care needs change as children grow up? Because we know that when children are young, they demand different type of care, and
Yeah.
that allows you to have different type of time for yourself. When they grow up, it's a different game. So what's a strategy for moms from having a new baby to having a small child to having a grown-up child? How does self-care changes the self-care needs, and how will you navigate through this?
Yeah, it's funny. I always tell moms, honor where you are because you're right. It does change. Like right now, you might have a newborn and it's a little chaotic. You're not getting as much sleep as you'd like, or it just feels like it's never ending from them moving from one phase to the next. Maybe you're working on potty training, and Lord knows I'm there right now with my 3-year-old, and he does not want to potty train. And it's like, but at the same time, I want to say is, move through each phase with the grace, but also soak it up, moms, because they grow so fast. And these moments that we have with them are just gone. I have a 16-year-old who's about to be 17 right now, too. So I have a 3, a 5, and a 7. So I know the gaps of the difference and the different needs because you think that when they get older they don't need you as much. And yes, to a point they're very independent, especially if I highly always encourage anyone I work with and moms, make sure you're teaching your kids from a young age to clean up after themselves, to do, my 17, I'm so proud of him. He cleans his own bathroom, he does his own laundry, he helps with the dishes, he even helps babysit the kids when I need it. It's it's so important for him because these are life skills that he will need for himself when he becomes an adult. So it don't ever feel bad for asking your kids to go throw away their own trash or to clean up their rooms and things like that. It's so important that you help them to see and also delegate. By delegating, you're taking that off of you. Think about how less that's on you. That frees up time for you, and it's teaching a powerful life skill for your kids. So it's a win-win, truly. And I think it's just like I said, honoring where you're at, embracing that time with where they're at, but also just seeing what is it that I need in this moment. What do I need to fill my cup? And then do it. Like you say, there are the different phases of whether, like you're saying, you have a newborn and you need a nap and you need to be like, I need to find someone to help watch this baby so I can go get the sleep that I need. Or if it's a toddler who's throwing a tantrum and you need to go take a moment to have some breathing exercises and relax yourself before you respond. So this way you're not snapping at him and making the situation worse and bringing off that energy. Instead, you're allowing yourself to allowing them to, first of all, because sometimes the kids need that too for themselves. They need a process. They don't understand what they're feeling. All they know is they're upset. For them it's the end of the world because they didn't get this or you said no to that. But they need to also process that and be allowed to kind of express themselves instead of being shut down. Think about as kids how many times we were told, "Oh, don't cry. Oh, don't do this," or whatever. And that just taught us that we have to suppress our feelings, right? And what good does that do you as an adult? So don't suppress them. Let them, but also kind of show them that it's not gonna, okay, you can do that. Go do that for yourself. When you're ready to calm down and talk, then we can talk because, they still need to feel the feelings, but I'm also not gonna give you attention for it because it's not, you know, I'm gonna let you have your time. Mommy's gonna have her time. I'm gonna go do what I need for myself so that when he's ready or she's ready, I can respond in a loving way of being like, well, what's going on? And get to the understanding for themselves and to show them that you still love them, you still care about them no matter what. So I hope that helps give you some ideas of just really honoring what they need. If they're in high school and they're going through changes and having self-esteem issues, things like that. It's really just knowing like what can I model for them? Let me show them what it means to love yourself and to take care of yourself without making them feel worse about it or putting pressure on them, but really just giving them that listening ear too, of just letting them be able to talk to you about anything and everything. It's one of the things I love about my mom. Growing up, no matter what mistakes I made, she always allowed me to tell and share everything no matter how bad it was or whatever. And I love her for that because she gave me that comfort and safety of knowing I had someone to truly turn to who wouldn't give up on me, who wouldn't judge me. That's why I tell you too, getting a life coach, like what you were saying earlier, is so important. Don't be afraid to invest in that. Even coaches need coaches. We all need coaches. It is so important to keep us not just accountable, but to have that support and that cheerleader on times when we have our dips, on times when things are just tough and you really need someone to help you to keep going.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And such a great attitude that you have. I can see a lot of moms that they will feel guilty
Yeah.
if they start taking care of themselves in moments when they really feel a need. For example, a child is having a tantrum and the mother is going to another room to just to meditate. I see a lot of moms, they can literally inflict self-guilt and feel like I'm neglecting my child, I shouldn't
Yeah.
do this. And I believe that's completely wrong attitude to have. First of all, because even on plane, right? They give you, they tell you first to put your own mask, then to put your
Yes.
child's mask, because like that, you can save your child and you can save yourself. But if you neglect yourself, then you might not be there for your child. So
Yes.
that's the important thing. Even as a in the past, I was working as a lifeguard, and the first thing they taught us is first make sure that you are safe as a lifeguard, and then you can save the person drowning. Because if you are not safe, then you cannot save anyone.
Yeah.
And that reflects to the same thing. If you
Yeah.
feel that you are neglected, if you feel empty, if you feel burned out, you will not be there for your child. So this thing that you're doing right now is actually in the long term for your child. You are filling your own cup so you can have something to use to help your child. So this 5 minutes while they're having a tantrum, they can survive without you. Like they can be okay without you if you just
Yeah.
go calm down to show better for them. That's what I would say. But how important is also to set boundaries or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
educate your partner as well to understand you in these moments, because I can see also a lot of partners might inflict guilt to the mother if she's not always there, if they it's not fitting to their idea that they have as what a mom should be. Or how do you balance between both parties?
Yeah, yeah. Well, communication's huge, but boundaries are incredible. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a big part of what I teach is setting healthy boundaries because, as moms, as people pleaser, I was a people pleaser, so I knew I was scared to say no. I always wanted to go out of my way to immediately respond to somebody or whatever, and no matter what it affected in my life, and you get stretched too thin, you get taken for granted, and it's just it's so much. It's exhausting, right? So it's so important that we learn that no is a form of self-care. Being able to say no when you need to say no or to take that time. But it's so important that we communicate with our spouses. I'm very blessed today to have a spouse that I can literally talk to about anything and everything. It wasn't easy in the beginning. Like, when you're getting to know somebody, it's a challenge. But overall, if you don't start now learning to have that healthy communication and being like, look, we're partners in this, and I'm going to need at times for you to step up in this way so that I get what I need, and not just, understanding that and having that agreement or understanding between each other, but the outcome. Like when you start seeing how them stepping up and you guys are supporting each other, the way your bond gets stronger, your relationships get stronger, is so worth it to just share how you feel and what you need in any moment. If I love, that's the thing with my husband. He helps when I need him to. He'll help do bath, or he'll help change a diaper, or whatever I need him to. If it's, well, he does a lot of the cooking in the house, thankfully, because I don't like to cook. So I'm very blessed with that. But at the same time, if he needed me to do that, he would communicate that with me, and I would do what I need to meet him, because it is all about finding that compromise and meeting each other where we all have our needs, right? And the sooner where we allow ourselves to get through the uncomfortableness of like telling them what you need and telling them what you may or may not like. Because I know there was a time where it's like I kind of tolerated things because I was afraid of his reactions if I said something. And I get that, because a lot of us might be in that place right now where it's like it's scary, the idea of trying to tell them, hey, you know what? I actually don't like this. I'm not a fan of this, right? And that can be really scary. But if you don't do that, all you're doing is building that internal resentment over time. You're causing this invisible tension that they're like thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, I thought everything is good when it's really not. So I just challenge you, if you're struggling with any kind of boundary setting and things like that, seek help if you really need some professional help with that, because that's not easy. I get it. But if there's any little step that you can take right now, is just start communicating more with your kids, with your partner, with yourself, and what it is that you truly need in each moment.
Before we go to the last question,
Okay.
I want to ask you, can you share maybe a real story of a client you had and how they transformed from being alone and then working with a coach like yourself and who they became?
Yeah, so I can think of one girl particular that I loved working with because she was actually going through a point where she was in a abusive relationship that was involved a lot of drugs too, and taking that action to leave him was extremely hard. And it was really great supporting her and really learning to focus on herself, like, and I really helped her walk through the steps of releasing her limiting beliefs, activating that abundance mindset, really getting to know her for the first time. And through the work that we did together, it was wonderful to see her, like, she found her relationship with God again, herself again. She actually was able to set boundaries with him as he kind of would still try to contact her, and she was like, until she literally put that foundation through our work, that, until you make these steps and I start seeing the action, like, we can't even talk right now. Like, and just seeing her really step more and more into loving herself and really owning her truth was beautiful. And it worked out later on for her and him that he saw that, she meant business and that he needed to make changes for himself. So the ripple effect of her working on herself affected him without her even being in touch with him, because he realized what life would be like without her. And I think through that, it was actually kind of beautiful to see that eventually they were able to slowly start talking again and reconnecting and working on sobriety together and really shifting and working on their marriage. So that was one of my favorite things to see in the world, actually, because I got to really support her in those times where she just wanted to run back to him and she just wanted to say screw it and whatever. And it's like, no, you matter, honey. You got to, you know, do these things for yourself. Be true to who you are. Don't let him run the show. You are running the show now, honey. And it was, yeah. So that's one of the things that I really enjoyed helping her through, for sure.
I love that. And
Yeah.
for anybody that wants to work with you, that wants to connect with you, where they can find you.
Yes, visit me at marydibblecoaching.com. That's MaryDibble coaching.com. You can find all of my free resources on there, information about my podcast, schedule a free, I offer a free Radiant Mom breakthrough session where we can really uncover some of the challenges you're facing and create an actual plan for your next steps. So I'd love to connect with you. I love meeting new people, even finding new guests for my podcast. So yeah, let's get connected for sure.
Mary, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here today. I love your energy. I love your passion to helping people. It's
Yeah.
clearly shown, and people can see from results. Anybody that wants to work with Mary, we will leave all the links in the description for your convenience. So you can go there, you can claim your freebie. It's a roadmap to clarity and confidence if you are a working, busy mom. So please go and get that. Visit Mary. Again, if you want to join a community of like-minded people, of positive moms and guides that's gonna help you on your journey. It's not easy. You need somebody. Go and connect with Mary, and she's one of the best in this industry. She actually won an award for one of the best coaches for moms. So it's not a coincidence that she's on the podcast today, and it's not a coincidence that you're listening to this right now. So please go visit her, connect with her, and you can take on from there. Thank you again, Mary, and for everybody, see you in the next one.